Sadly, it's that time of year where the leaves are almost fully changed here in upstate New York, and all they are now is just falling off the trees, leaving huge leaf piles for my husband to clean up, or my birds to try to go see if there's a worm underneath. And the nighttime temps are almost to frost or freeze. The Canadian geese can't decide which way they want to go, either north, south, or back to north. They have no clue. They're flying all over the place. It is time to button up my birds, the barn, and get ready for winter. Hi, welcome back to Lilac Oaks Farm. My name is Renee, and today I figured I'd bring you along and talk to you about how we get ready for winter, as it is coming. And we do have several birds that live not in the barn. They have their own house and paddocks, and then we have a set of pigs. And what are we going to do with them for the winter? So without further ado, let's get farming. On the farm here, we house some of our ducks in what is called hoop houses. Basically, they're just with cow paneling or utility paneling, hog paneling, whatever you want to call it, because I've heard all different names. It is used, those are from one side to the other, and you make it into a U shape. It's connected to actually 2x4s or 2x6, and that's what we use. All thanks to COVID, we had to improvise and use something different than what you would normally. A lot of people use dog houses or will build your own duck house. Well, this is what we use because COVID made things not available or wicked expensive. This one is actually one of our biggest hoop houses. This is 3 of those cow panels. This is meant for a lot of ducks, but sadly we processed them. They were all males. This was like the prisoner camp. We basically processed them because there was just way too many and nobody wanted any. So they went to freezer camp. Now we're in winter, and well, how do we actually keep our ducks warm? Well, that is what we've been starting on. Little by little, every year we increase the Tyvek. Tyvek is a waterproof paper. You know it for envelopes, but you can actually get it as they call it house wrap. And that is what you see on our thing that says Lowe's. This one actually says, you can see a little bit of it. Says Tyvek right in here, and that actually helps with the wind, because really what to keep a livestock warm is keep them out of the wind. As you can see, we'll go underneath. Now you can see they are on the ground. They'll be on deep bedding. It'll be 6 inches to start. We're slowly increasing that, and here you can see the paneling, and then you see we have started to Tyvek up. So last year they only had 2, the little bit of Tyvek and 1 down at the bottom. This year I've extended it up to the top because of finances. I can't do everything all at once. And then we'll actually be putting 2 more sections of Tyvek right here. Again, they're still going to have a tarp. I need to buy a new one because they had actually, the drakes went, and as you can see right there, they decided that they were going to pull the strings. So I need to get a new one. And then we actually plastic it with heavy plastic. And then for the front, what we do here is, this year, we normally have a clear coat of plastic over, which we will be doing again. So what I did here was I put another thing of Tyvek, because last year all we did was throw straw bales. Again, lots of stuff was hard last year for us to get. So I still have plastic from last year, so I haven't done it yet because it's gonna rain. Probably tomorrow I'll start clear plasticking. If it doesn't rain tonight, this is supposed to get finished. We have the plastic still for this house, because this house is actually really big. So this will get done, and then this is Pewter's paddock and his girls. They'll be ready for winter. And that's basically what we do for the hoop houses. Old Lady and Buddy are already started, which you saw me open the door for them earlier. I can show you AC's. AC, my boy, we finished fully Tyvecking last night. Well, it got really dark, so his girls didn't want to go in because they didn't understand, like, what's all this white stuff. And they are gonna get plastic too. This will get all heavy coated, but you can see We got the plastic. They need the airflow, so they need these vent holes up here. We just need to actually put fencing up here to prevent any coons or squirrels or anything come in here. This is done pretty good for predators. The only predator we had actually was a fox, and there was a gap because old lady buddy, during the summer I like to pasture them and I move them along because it's easier to clean up from them because they don't walk. So because they're not really mobile, I need to move them. They're the only ones that I had issues with were a fox, and we had to process one of my birds called tailgating because the fox grabbed her and pulled her wing right out of the socket, and it was in the middle of hot summer heat, so it would have been bad. So we just to end it would be better for her and for us. So it was sad. Hi. So how do we get the barn ready for winter? Well, we use heat tape all over our water lines. The water here is pretty funny. It comes from actually the house. Whoever built the barn used the well, pushed the pipe down, come up here, and it freezes a lot over here. So we had to dig down and redo the heat tape. And the barn is just really needs a lot of TLC, and financially we haven't been able to do it. So it could be another couple years before we can even rip the barn apart. So slowly I have been trying to get the ducks out of the barn, and now we got pigs. I want to get them out of the barn. I don't want anybody in the barn. It's just there's a lot of wood that's actually rotting. So we use heat tape, we have Tyvek anywhere we can, and we've used the silver, I call it bubble wrap, because basically it's this nice thermal paper on bubble wrap. That's what it reminds me of. We've put that a lot of the places in the barn, in the ceiling, try to prevent any of the wind chill to come in the barn. The first year we did lose several chickens to the wind chill. You're learning how to do stuff, and we didn't know that the wind was actually really how bad the cracks were. So we have since then gone through and we have Tyvek or bubble wrap because we're blocking the wind chill. We don't want any insulation because the mice or rats will get in there and get that, and they can pee all over it, and then it stinks, and that's no good for anybody because it's actually not very good for the birds to breathe in, let alone yourself. So we do what we can with the barn. They did put a French drain in, but for some reason it's not connected, and we would have to dig everything up to fix it, and right now it's not feasible with all the birds until I get the birds out. So the whole front, when it gets icy, it's a skating rink all the way down. I have to wear ice cleats down or else I fall. And then the ducks, actually, the first year we had them out in the barn. They weren't in the room, they were out in the hallway. We opened it up for them. They actually took the straw and threw it all, they did it, literally dragged it all down the walkway. So that's what we do. Pretty soon when it gets time, when it starts snowing, we will put straw down, all down on the floor, and that way we can walk without having to use ice cleats. If you're curious about what we do for the chickens have Tyvek in their room to protect them. I know I touched a little bit on the chickens earlier, but they have in their rooms Tyvek to protect them. But for outside, they actually have a lean-to, so they have a cover, so they're pretty good for their run. But I want to plastic it. Last year I didn't plastic because, again, I couldn't find any. It was COVID, there just was none on the shelf. So, and if there was, it was already gone. So I want to plastic up this to protect them from the wind chill. And I also have a pool and a cement tub. This is what I use for the ducks in the winter. And in the summer, they use that for their water at night for them to be able to dust bath in because they still need to prevent mites. That's what's going to go on with the birds. If you're curious about what I was just feeding the birds, I actually ferment the scratch grains. So you put them in a jar, you fill the jar with water just above the scratch grain, you shake it up, and you keep track of that for 3 days. You got to make sure the water's above all the feed, shake it up, and then it'll be fermented, and when it does, it releases all those good nutrients, and it's easier to digest for the birds. It tastes better because they go nuts over it. If you are new here to Lilac Oaks Farm, we are all about homesteading, farming related things. Baking, cooking, preserving, even growing your own food, whether it's plant or animal. but the only thing we can't do is grow this channel without your help. So hit that like button and help us grow. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you will get notified when I upload a new video. Anyway, so we have two gardens. We have the big garden in the back, which you see my ducks are already in it. They're laying, they're pooping everywhere. Well, that garden is not going to be used next year. We're going to turn that into a duck, cul-de-sac, you can call it. So we'll have duck houses around the outer ring, and in the middle they'll have their pool, the community stuff that they like to do. Because of the bird flu and what New York State did last year and how they locked us down really made me think of how I could protect my birds a little bit better. So that's what's going to happen with that garden. So then I need to find a new spot, which I have because we have 6 acres. The small garden up front is still there. That's going to be there. I just need to take care of it. I just haven't bothered with it this year. I was trying to get other stuff done. Life happens. So now we are over to the other side of our property. The other side's pretty big. We were gonna use this as pasture. I want sheep eventually, but at this moment in time, I don't have anything, and I really would like to get more pigs started first because I would like them to actually eat all the trees, all the brush. I'd like them to clear that out first. But yeah, this is actually going to be our garden. I have to fix the fence, and I need a rototill down here, I already know. And this is where we're going to be. I'm already starting my duck poop droppings. Somebody was supposed to start fixing the tree up a little bit. This tree is really weird, but we got to start taking one arm off at a time just to clean it up. But yeah, that's what's going on with the gardens. They're already done. I've pretty much pulled everything, gave everything to the ducks. Ducks are eating it. And that's our next step for next year. And then I do usually a homesteading goal video in beginning of next year in 2023. So then I'll be doing that so I can see what my goals are. And in December, I should be doing one if we made any goals. It'd be interesting, but I don't think we did. Just because the prices and inflation and all that messed with our economy, people's health, our mental health. I didn't even plant garlic like I normally do. And if you go to buy garlic, just the seed, which is just a clove, you're looking at $25 for some places, and it's like, what? Garlic is a very cheap and should not be $25 for a pound, which is maybe three heads. That's not. Come on now. So yeah, it's getting ridiculous. So what are we going to do with our pigs this winter? Well, they're actually going to stay in this room. We just haven't extended their fence yet because the ducks are still going a little bit into the garden, and we just don't have the money to get more fencing. We did get some electric, but every time we turn around it is raining, so you don't really want to put electric fence out in rain. It's just not going to work anyway. Portobello is the one that we're keeping, and the other one I just call Piggy, or sausage, bacon, pork chops, all the good stuff. But they do live up to their name, and they also act like a very big dog at the same time. It's so funny. This is our second time having pigs. The first set of pigs was given to us over, at least almost 20 years ago, and those were potbelly pig. They didn't live long just because we didn't know anything about pigs, and back then I didn't have time. I actually used to work full-time, but they'll be fine. They're pretty much buttoned up almost. We just gotta button up the top. There's a window that we have plexiglass for because I would still like them to get some light. This room actually has Tyvek in it already. And we're going to do a little bit more over here. And it has bubble wrap. I call it bubble wrap. It's the silver. It's bubble wrap to me, but it's silver. It's meant to help with the cold. So we have that up. We just need to do the gate. And they will be buttoned up for winter. What are you doing to get ready for winter? Are you doing what I am doing? Prepping the barn, prepping where the animals live, Let me know in the comments down below. If you would like to watch my favorite duck breed, which most of us all know what that is, you can click here. I will see you over there.